Welcome to this video on setting up your course catalogue in TotalLearn. The great thing about the catalogue is that you decide what is shown and how. Here you can see the default catalogue settings in a new install of TotalLearn. Let's have a look at how to configure this. First, decide what types of learning the catalogue should show. Next, set up some general settings. Decide whether you want the catalogue to show as tiles or a list, or whether you'll give users the option. Decide how many items will show before the learner needs to load more. At the top of the catalogue, users have a top-level browse. By default, this is based on category, but you can remove this entirely or set it up based on a custom field. This is particularly important because it's probably the main way learners will filter content. Think about what would be most useful for your learners. For example, you might choose a custom location field so learners can search for training in their area, or the type of course so learners can choose only online courses. Finally, you can decide whether to enable the featured learning option, which will highlight specific items in the catalogue. I'll say that in my catalogue, courses in the mandatory category should be shown as featured. I'll save my changes and move on to setting up my templates. Here, you'll decide how your item and detail templates should look. You aren't deciding what content is used in them yet, that comes next, but first you need to decide what to leave space for. You can decide whether to include an image, any hero data which appears in the top left corner of the item, and a description. If there's other information you know you want to include, reserve space for it by adding text and icon placeholders. Finally, decide whether you want to display a progress bar on the tile item. In the second section, you'll set up a template for the detail, which appears when a tile item is selected. In the same way, you can decide whether to include the title, any rich text formatted content such as the course summary, and a description and placeholders as before. On the next two tabs, you'll decide on the content that populates the template you've set up. For each learning type, you can set up the template differently. So for example, you might use the full name for courses, but the short name for certifications. In the additional fields section, I can see two drop-downs for each learning type. That's because I added two additional text placeholders. This is where I define what information will be used to populate those placeholders. I'll complete the same process for the details. In this case, I added space for rich text content because I wanted to show the course summary, so I'll add that here. In the additional text field I added, I want to display the name of the course trainer, so I'll add that here. Let's now have a look at the catalogue. Your eye is drawn to the mandatory courses which are shown as featured. Each item shows the title of the learning, the image, and the information I chose to populate the item template with, the start or available date, and the category. If I select a tile, the detail information I've set up is displayed. I can see the course summary and the name of the trainer. The top-level browse allows me to filter courses by category, and an additional learning type filter has been automatically added. I can add more filters by going back to the editor and selecting the Filters tab. The learning type filter is showing here, but I can easily remove it if I want to. Instead, I'll add a filter based on subject tags. If I save and view the catalogue again, I can now filter my courses based on the tags associated with them. This is a powerful tool which allows you to set up any kind of filtering you'd like. So that's configuring the course catalogue in TotalLearn 12. How will you set up your course catalogue?